So here we're looking at this equation and we're saying, okay, we got two options. Cross multiply. I don't get to cross multiply because I don't have a fraction equaling a fraction. But I do need to get a common denominator. So let's see. Common denominator means this one needs times 3. This one needs x minus 3. And this dude needs everything. Oh, no, it's not x times x minus 3, it's 3 times x minus 3. Whew, alright, so I'm going to get another paper because I've got lots of stuff going on here. So my numerator is 3x plus x minus 3. And then I have 3x minus 3. Now my whole denominator, all of them are 3x minus 3 and 3x minus 3, which when I multiply both sides by 3x minus 3 and 3x minus 3, everything goes away gorgeously. So that's what I have. I'm going to combine like terms. I'm going to distribute, and I'm going to move the x over here to keep it positive, and move the 3 over there, which becomes negative 6. So we get negative 6. So for 14, it asks, what would you have needed to do to make it solvable by cross multiply? And that is that we would have needed to go ahead and add them together first, which is essentially what we did right here. But even still, cross multiply, ick. I'd rather go ahead and just multiply both sides by that to cancel them out. Okay, so let's move on to 16. So for 16, it's really over a 1. So I have some options here. Really, I just want to get rid of this, so if I multiply both sides by that, it will disappear. Or I can put it over 1 and do cross multiply. Ultimately, you end up doing the same thing, because when you multiply the top by that, they go away, and when you multiply the top by this, you end up with a 2 times that value. So let's look at what we have. We have x squared minus 4 equals 2 times x squared minus 100. So we need to do some simplification. And we need to move this guy over there so it stays positive. And I'm going to move this guy over there, which now becomes 196, which I really think is square rootable, isn't it? Yeah, it's 14. So x is equal to plus or minus 14. And putting a 14 in here won't make a 0 on the denominator, so all is well in our world. We have a positive 14 and a negative 14. Alright, let's go ahead and look at 18. 18, I have options here. I can get a common denominator. I can also say, let's just subtract a 1 over here, if I wanted to. If I subtracted a 1 over there, that's like 7, 6 minus 6, 6, which is then just 1, 6. And then I can just use cross multiply on that. So you could have gotten a common denominator. There's lots of ways to do it, but you have to simplify somehow first. So by doing our cross multiply, I get 30 equals y minus 1, and y is equal to 31. So that is pretty stinking easy that way. Let's go ahead and look at what we would have done if we had gotten a common denominator. Common denominator would have been minus 1 times 6. And then this one would have needed a 6. And then this one would have needed a y minus 1. As you can see, it's already gotten quite a bit more complicated on here. Now, all of my denominators are the same, so I can multiply both sides by this here. And so they can all go away, but I still have all of this here. I have 6y minus 6 plus 30 equals 7y minus 7. And then I would need to have done that. So that would have given me, what, move my y over here, I would have gotten y over here. If I had added a 7 over here, I would have gotten 31. getting exactly the same answer, but boy oh boy, subtracting the 1 over here and making it a nice pretty 1/6 sure did make my life a lot easier. Worth a look-see. Okay, so we have this guy here, and we have a lot of options here, but let's just see what it's asking us. It says, which of the following is a valid solution to the equation? So if I just go ahead and plug some numbers in, I have what? If I plug a 3 in, I have 6. Sorry about that, moving things around. If I plug a 3 in here, I get 6 on the top and 6 on the bottom, equals 1 minus 6 on the top and 6 on the bottom. So I have 1 equals 1 minus 1, not true. If I plug in negative 3, I get negative 6 over 0 equals 1 minus 6 over 0. Now, I don't know how familiar you guys are with these things, but if you take 6 objects, you cannot divide it into 0 pieces. You can divide it into 1 piece where it stays the same. You can divide it into 2 pieces, but you cannot divide it into 0 pieces. So this is error. It would show syntax error on your calculator, and it would tell you that that would definitely be a problem. So let's go ahead and plug some other numbers in. If I plug in a 1 in here, I get 2 over 4 equals 1 minus 6 over 4, and that gives me 2/4 is equal to negative 2/4, so that's not it. Now, for the negative, that would make that negative, right? Negative 2. This would make this 2. And here, that would make that a 2. So this would be negative 1 equals 1 minus, let me do that now. 1 minus 3, negative 1 is equal to negative 2. So that one doesn't work either. So I've gone through all of them, and I've shown that negative 3 is not a solution. So let's go ahead and look and see what's going on here. Let's move this guy over. Y, I see that they both have a common denominator, so I can just go ahead and deal with that. So I get factor out of 2, x plus 3, or x plus 3 equals 1. Cancel, cancel, 2 equals 1. Well, 2 doesn't equal 1. So this equation is not true, and so there is no solution that actually does work for it.